privilege to be here today with so many brilliant, wonderful people here in London showing our opposition to trophy hunting. And of course, there are also events taking place in Washington DC, Florida and New York, and of course, ultimately in Las Vegas, where Safari Club International are holding their convention and their anniversary, their 50th year anniversary, which they see as a celebration. But of course, if you've watched the online promotional videos Safari International put out, you'll know what they're saying. They're saying that what they're engaged in is a noble practice, is about conservation, is about respect for wildlife, and that they are the threatened, they are the persecuted, they are the ones who are defending their rights. Defending their rights, as one exponent put it, to protect animals through hunting them. Well, I think everyone here knows that the one sure method of protecting animals has absolutely nothing to do with hunting them and nothing to do with displaying their body parts for our friends and families and networks and office workers to see. So this notion that trophy hunting is about conservation, that needs to be firmly put to bed, because what we know trophy hunters do, encouraged by organisations like Safari Club International, is they deliberately target the most visually impressive of a species, the largest males, the ones with the biggest tusks, the longest horns, the most impressive manes. And what that does is it weakens the gene pool for future generations, making them less able to fight hostile environments that confront them. Man-made hostile environments caused by, for example, climate change. So what we see with elephants, one of the most popular animals for UK trophy hunters to kill, is that their tusks are now getting shorter, and some animals have no tusks at all. What we see with lions is that over the last 100 years, 50% of the gene pool has been weakened. So what trophy hunting is really all about is weakening populations, causing decline of populations, and throwing them ever closer to extinction. So if trophy hunting isn't about conservation, well, is it about respect for animals, respect for wildlife? I don't think it is, because in the year 2022, with everything we know now about animal sentience, about the complexity of the relationships animals form between themselves and their families, about the ability of animals to suffer and feel pain and feel joy, well, how then can taking away the breath, the heartbeat, the life of an animal be about respect for wildlife? How can that be anything other than an affront to life? And when it comes to canned hunting, isn't the injury even greater? Because forcing an animal to live most or all of its life in the confined situation where it can't express behaviour natural to its species, how is that anything other than a torture? So if trophy hunting isn't about conservation and it's not about respecting wildlife, well then trophy hunters tell us that what we're actually doing is putting money and creating jobs in local communities. But this idea is completely without foundation, because we know only a fraction of the money generated ever goes into conservation, and only around 3% of the total revenue generated ever goes into local communities. It goes instead to individuals and government organisations operating in national capitals and overseas in other countries. So, if trophy hunting isn't about conservation and it's not about respecting wildlife and it's not really about creating jobs or conservation in local communities, well then what is it about? Isn't it about ego massage? Isn't it about making money, yes, not for local communities but for other people? About thinking that if you can kill and display the body of an animal, well those people that you seek to impress, well they're really going to be impressed. Yes. It's about ego massage. And yes, there is money to be made, of course there is, because between 100,000 and 170,000 animals are being killed every year for trophies. And the amounts that trophy hunters are prepared to pay are extremely high. £3,000 to kill a hippopotamus, £10,000 to kill an elephant, £25,000 to kill a lion, or perhaps £35,000 to kill a polar bear, which yes, you still can can do in the Canadian Arctic. And if you want to sell that body and ship it somewhere else overseas, well then you can get many, many, many thousands of pounds more. So yes, there is money to be made, and it lines the pockets of wealthy people elsewhere in the world, but not in local communities. So what this really is about ego massage and about making money. Because for far too long, humans have thought that they existed separately from the rest of the natural world. They've failed to understand that we are part of a complex web of life. And animals, they are not here for us to make money from, to massage our egos from. From the largest elephant to the tiniest mouse, they exist simply for their own purposes. They are not here for us to make money from. They are not here for us to massage our egos upon. No, what we need to do is appreciate that we are part of a complex web of life, and we nurture and protect that because we want to nurture and protect ourselves. And the depths of the climate and biodiversity crisis that now confront us should force us to take stock of that and appreciate the role that we play as part of a complex web of life. In fact, a wholesale reappraisal of our relationship with animals and the environment is needed. One where we realise we are not the dominators, not the masters, but part of that complex web of life. And surely a major part of that reappraisal is for us to end trophy hunting. End trophy hunting everywhere in the world. And one of the ways that we do that is by pushing forward with a ban on the import and the export of trophies. And you know what? Here in the UK, our government, they promised us they're going to bring forward a ban. An amazing ban, a world-beating ban, a ban that's going to make it illegal to import the body parts of thousands of animals. And yet they've failed to tell us when they're going to do that. They've failed to tell us the timetable, and only last week our government failed to support a private members' bill that asked for a ban. So for a government that told us we were going to be world leaders in animal welfare, the gap between words and deeds, it begins to yawn, doesn't it, that gap? Because whilst our government dillies and dallies, thousands of animals continue to die, pointlessly, needlessly. So what we need to do is bring forward that ban, because that ban has the potential to inspire and inform debate, not just here, but around the world, leading to an end to trophy hunting. And what we need to see in its place are genuinely respectful activities that conserve nature, that do delight in wildlife, but they leave them unharmed, protected, and genuinely create jobs for people in local communities. So, I wish all the very best for all the rallies taking place this week. Not just this rally here in London, but yes, in Washington DC, in New York, in Florida, and in Las Vegas. And you know what? I cannot wait for the day when trophy hunting ends. Yes. When this sad chapter of human history is finally closed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.